The word is right there. You can feel the shape of it. But mid-sentence, in front of someone, it's gone. So you cover. You laugh and say, you know that thing. But later, when the room is quiet, a small, cold question sits down beside you. Is this how it starts? That fear has a name in this house, Carol's. 67, a retired school teacher who once knew 300 children by name and last week couldn't find the word for spatula. She laughed it off at dinner. But alone that night she was frightened, because her own mother had begun in exactly this way. If that lands a little too close to home, you are not alone. And today we are going to do something about it. For years, doctors had one tidy answer for what Carol was feeling. They called it normal. Just your brain getting older. Nothing to be done. Get used to it. And this is where they were wrong. Not a little wrong. Wrong in a way that changes everything for you. Now let me be fair, because honesty matters here more than drama. Some things do slow with age. Reaching for a name can take an extra second. That's real, and completely harmless. But the heavy fog, losing your words, walking into a room with no idea why, thinking like you're wading through mud, that is usually not your brain wearing out. It is your brain being weighed down by something. And nearly always the something can be lifted. One honest note first. I am not your doctor, and nothing here is a diagnosis. Treat today as a short list of good questions to bring to yours. So the real question was never how fast is my brain aging. It is this: what is sitting on top of your thinking and how do you take it off? There are 4 quiet weights that fog the mind after 60. 4 of the most common and the most fixable. Not the whole story, but the part you can do the most about. And the third hides in plain sight in almost every home. Start with the brain itself. It is like a city busy all day and cleaning itself all night. Every night in your deepest sleep, an overnight cleaning crew washes through, rinsing away the waste a full day of thinking leaves behind. Researchers call it the glymphatic system. Think of it as the night shift, the crew that takes out the trash while you sleep. Now, I'll be straight with you. The clearest pictures of this come from studies in mice, so we hold the details loosely. But in people, the pattern is hard to ignore. When deep sleep falls apart, the morning fog rolls in. When sleep is repaired, the fog so often lifts. Carol hadn't slept a full night in nearly 3 years. That is the first weight, but only one of 4. And the next 2? Almost nobody thinks to check them, even though they are the easiest to fix. The second is a quiet nutrient gap. After 60, your body gets worse at pulling vitamin B12 from your food. Add a common acid reducer or the most widely used diabetes drug, and the gap grows wider. Here is the cruel part. A low B12 can look exactly like early memory loss. The same fog. The same missing word. In older adults, it is so often waved away as just getting old when a simple blood test would have caught it. And here is the hope right beside the fear: it is frequently reversible. Correct the B12 and for many people the fog begins to clear. Imagine being told the aging brain you'd quietly grieved was a vitamin all along. Carol, it turned out, had been on an acid reducer for nearly a decade. The third weight makes people stop cold. Go and look in your medicine cabinet. Some of the most ordinary things in there: an old nighttime allergy pill, a drugstore sleep aid. Certain bladder medicines quietly blunt one of the brain's key messengers, a chemical called acetylcholine. the one it leans on most for memory and focus. Use them now and then, no great matter. But heavy, long-term use in older adults has been linked, in study after study, to more fog and a higher risk of memory trouble. Researchers are still untangling cause from coincidence, but the signal is strong enough that geriatric specialists now flag these drugs by name. So hear me clearly. I am not telling you to stop anything, please don't. Some of these matter, and stopping suddenly carries its own risk. I am telling you it is worth one honest conversation with your doctor, because very often the fix is a gentle swap, not a sacrifice. Carol had a nighttime pill she'd taken so long she'd forgotten it was ever optional. The fourth weight is the slowest and the most silent. A low, smoldering irritation in the body, what scientists call inflammation, and the quiet stiffening of circulation that creeps in after years of sitting still. Of everything ever tested for the aging brain, regular movement is among the most consistent winners we have. Walking, gardening, a daily loop around the block. It works through more doors than we can fully map: circulation, oxygen, the brain's own repair signals. You don't have to understand all of it, you just have to move. So, 4 weights. Deep sleep, a nutrient gap. The medicine cabinet, movement lift them, and the fog finally has somewhere to go. But here is the finding that genuinely surprised the researchers who ran it. In 2025, a major American study called U.S. Pointer followed more than 2,000 older adults, all between 60 and 79, all already worried about their memory. They weren't given a drug. They were given their own lives, gently restructured: more movement, better food, mental challenge, their health closely tracked. 2 years on, the results landed in one of the world's most respected medical journals. And this group was not simply holding the line. On the thinking tests, they had measurably improved, not slowed, not merely delayed. Improved in people in their 60s and 70s. The ones who followed the structured plan pulled clearly ahead of those left to figure it out alone. And the benefits showed up across the board: every background, even those carrying the genes that worry families most. It echoes an earlier trial, Finger, which found the same in over 1,200 older adults. Carol didn't know a word of this yet, but she was about to live every bit of it. So what do you actually do? 3 things, and not one is dramatic. First, protect the night shift. A steady bedtime, a cool, dark, quiet room, and 10 minutes of morning light on your face, which sets the clock behind your night. Second, move every single day. Not a marathon, a walk. Movement is the closest thing we have to medicine for the aging brain, and it is free. And then there is the third tool. This one surprised me most when I first read the research, because it asks almost nothing of you. It is a single blood test and one honest conversation. It is the step that finally gave Carol her answer. Ask your doctor to check your B12. And bring the whole list of what you take: prescriptions, drugstore pills, all of it, and ask one simple question: could any of these be fogging me? No years of effort. One appointment, one list. Picture it. The window cracked open to cool night air. The lamp clicked off by 10. The morning walk while the light is still low and gold. And there on the kitchen counter, a short handwritten list ready for Tuesday's appointment. That right there is the whole prescription. 6 months later, Carol was on the phone with her daughter, and she caught herself mid-sentence. She had just told a long, winding story and never once lost the thread. A blood test had found a low B12. One nighttime pill had quietly come off her list. Her deep sleep came back first, and then, slowly, the words came home. The fog she had been so sure was the beginning of the end had a cause, and the cause had a fix. So if you carry only 3 things out of today, let them be these. Guard your deep sleep. It is how your brain cleans itself each night. Move a little every single day. And ask for that B12 test and that medicine review, the quietest, easiest win of them all. Your brain holds a remarkable capacity to recover far more than anyone ever told your generation. At 60, at 70, at 80, the fog is not your destiny. So often it is not the mind failing at all, just something sitting on top of it. And what sits on top can be lifted. If this gave you even a little hope, share it with someone quietly afraid about their memory. It may be the push that gets them to ask the right question, because there is one more piece we haven't placed, the quiet one running beneath all of it. The sleep, the energy, the inflammation, your blood sugar after 60. It is doing more to your brain, your mood, and your memory than almost anyone realizes, and most people have the whole story backwards. That is exactly where we are headed next time. I'll see you there.